The most iconic panel in Chainsaw Man. In my videos, I discuss manga art and techniques including Tatsuki Fujimoto's most famous work, Chainsaw Man. And now, I'm here to capture the dark imagery of one of Tatsuki Fujimoto's most iconic panels. To make the scene work, we need astronauts. A lot of them. Starting off, I made a sketch in Clip Studio Paint after looking at the panel very closely. To give an eerily uncanny look, I used a symmetry ruler to make the astronaut precisely positioned on both sides. It's also a really good shortcut to draw if you're feeling lazy. After getting some basic lines in, I want to fill in areas of black to make the contrast striking with the darkest areas and the lightest areas. Fujimoto's work strikes me because of its sketchy yet surreal style that just gives me a rush of chaotic excitement. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on Chainsaw Man in the comments below. But anyways, after that I start to develop the shading with hatching below the arms with increasing hatches to develop the values of the shadow, little by little, layer over layer. Then I drew in the helmet that has a rounded reflection. I tried to achieve that mirrored look by putting contour lines of white going around the round helmet, where the light would hit using a fisheye perspective within the helmet as a guideline. Now I'll start adding one shade of gray and draw the reflection in detail. Finally, it's time to rearrange some guts. I hatched some concentric lines forming tubes on top of the heavily stippled bottom to make this appearance of something more gruesome. Dots and lines is all you need to make some magic. I'll then finish off the background with a pitch black horizon and sky. Oof, the contrast. Followed by the same gray shade on the floor. I like to keep it simple with the tones. No need for 50 shades of gray. Just enough to give a sense of shadow, but not enough to kill the contrast. What really strikes me about this panel is just the symbolism of the astronaut and the fear of darkness stemming from exploring into the unknown, and the contrast really just makes this work so well. To finish off the drawing, I added some weeds and foliage found in the panel. And voila, we have the astronaut. But wait, where's his legs? And the next piece of the puzzle. Here I repeat the process. Sketch, refine lines, ink, hatch, and then shade. This might be the half that lets us stand on our feet. After getting the pictures done, I exported separate layers of the gray and black. I'll be using these separated silhouette layers to make multi-layer stencils to spray paint onto a canvas. Let's get these printed and get to carving some stencils. Yo, after going to Kinko's and printing pages with similar sizes, I want to gather materials for the stencil. For this, you'll need stencil paper, a cutting board, cutting knife, scissors, tape, mine's double-sided, a canvas to go full Bob Ross on. Did I say canvas? I meant 6 canvases. Mine are both 24 by 30 inches. And lastly, some spray paint. Now I'll stick my printed paper onto my stencil board. Make sure everything lines up. For the stencil paper, you need something thick. Preferably above 200 GSM. I ended up using frame paper, a way thicker board than was needed, but you can go thinner as long as the paint doesn't bleed through the paper when spray painting. Getting the thick board actually came back to haunt me as it was really difficult to cut with an X-Acto knife, having to flip back and forth to cut out the pieces. This thing really took out my thumbs and wrists, but what can I say? Beauty is pain. When cutting, be very mindful of keeping the stencil attached in one piece by not carving out full lines and leaving room for attachments of the full stencil. This is how the stencil ended up. After hours of carving, we can finally get to spraying and praying. First, we'll put down the bottom gray coat. We want a nice, even, and generous coat to make the silhouette stand out. Time to take the top off. Oof. And then the black layer. I had to watch this stencil as the stencil was propping up in some areas, so I had to hold it down. Spray, spray, spray. There's something really therapeutic about covering a canvas or a wall with spray paint. Or maybe it's just the fumes. But the best part is ripping it. Crispy. Let's move on to the legs. Gray layer. Black layer. Getting it in good right in the crevices. Now I take the top off. Yes sir. Rinse and repeat this a couple more times with the same stencils and we'll get there. Get where? Oh. Recreating the whole panel with an art gallery twist after a big effort. I was really happy with how it turned out. But in creating all of this, I actually found an easier way to get your favorite prints and canvases. I'm excited to announce the launch of my art print store on Imprint where you can cop these pieces along with my other artwork with more coming soon. We have a wide selection in sizes and frames and even formats with options in a canvas, acrylic, and art card prints. If you're interested, the link will be in the description along with my other social media. Finally, if this video interested you into the art of Chainsaw Man, consider watching my video on the surrealism of Tatsuki Fujimoto, and if you want to learn more about creating comics and manga, feel free to subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for supporting me and I hope you have a great day.